And Kristy Swanson was a victim in all of that. Thicke and actress Kristy Swanson dated for a considerable time in the mid-'80s. They actually met when she was 16 and he was 40. They dated for a while. They were actually engaged to be married in 1988, and Kristy confirmed as much during a Love Line appearance back in 2002. Go look at the transcript. She said, "We were 22 years apart. I was 17. We met on the Warner Brothers lot. Thicke broke off the engagement, ended the 2-year relationship shortly after proposing. It was because she had overdosed on cocaine." Near the end of the show, Adam Carolla mentions offhand, "Kristy, you dated Alan Thicke, right?" Kristy's caught off guard and admitted they dated when she was 17 and he was 40. And then Adam Carolla inquired how she met him, and she said she was working on the Warner Brothers lot and met him when she was 16. Their announcers comes on, he goes, "He dated one of my old girlfriends too when she was really young. He's creepy." And then Adam Carolla said, "He's America's dad. Why can't he hump all of his kids?" Well, how did they meet? Right? Did they just randomly meet on the Warner Brothers lot? No. They met when she was 16, when she appeared on an episode of Growing Pains. It was one of those very special episodes. It was called Thank God It's Friday. And in the episode, she played a teen party goer, Rhonda, who encourages the main character, Mike Seaver, and his friends to join her in the bathroom to do cocaine. So they break up, though, when she actually, in real life, overdoses on cocaine. Basically her boss. And Alan Thicke met his second wife, Gina Tollison, in 1992, so this is shortly after he and Kristy split. And Gina was a 22-year-old South Carolinian, former Miss World, still working for the foundation. Alan was about 45, 46. Alan Thicke gave an interview to People magazine in September of 1999, just as the ink was drying on his divorce papers. And I said, I think this is a disgrace. We had no problems. Well, perhaps Gina was upset because Alan Thicke was cheating on her with a woman named Tanya Kalau. And they met in 1999. Alan Thicke was 52 years old. Tanya was 24. Tanya immigrated to the United States from her native Bolivia to be a model. Now, who was haunting Bolivia and bringing back models to Florida in the 90s? Jean-Luc Brunel? Epstein? We don't know a lot about Tanya in the 90s. She just began finding modeling work. She supposedly met Alan while on a modeling job in Miami, but Tanya in the mid-90s would have been a teenager, 18, 19 years old. How did she get to the United States as a barely working model? It is unclear to this day whether she was represented by an agency or did any print work at all to serve as a stepmother to Carter and also stepmother to Robin Thicke and Brennan, who, like I said, basically older than her. And Tanya's name was swept up in a bit of controversy in April 2013 when her mother, Ruth, was charged with murder after her husband was killed by hitmen. According to the Toronto Sun, Ruth was connected to the murder after her husband worker confessed to authorities that Ruth Kalau paid him $4,000 to make the husband disappear. So he contracted 2 men to kidnap and kill the husband. Just so you know, when Brian Peck, her Nickelodeon dialogue coach, was set to be sentenced for abusing Drake Bell, there were some people who wrote, hey, letters in support of Brian Peck. And one of those people was Alan Thicke.